Chosen one. Have you ever wondered why you wake up at 3:33 a.m. with your heart pounding, knowing something's coming but you can't name it? Why does August feel different in your bones this year, like the air itself is holding its breath? What if I told you that right now, while you're watching this, there are spiritual forces moving pieces on a board you can't see, and your name is written on one of those pieces? Stop everything. Chosen one. If you're hearing this right now, it's not by accident. It's divine appointment. The clock in heaven just struck the 8th of August, and something ancient is about to be awakened in your bloodline. This isn't a calendar date. It's a key hidden in your soul since before you were born. A key that's been waiting, rusting in the tears of every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every night you cried yourself to sleep wondering if God forgot your address. But here's the shocking truth they don't want you to know. Your delay wasn't denial, it was divine timing. Every rejection letter, every relationship that crumbled, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers like sand, it was all orchestrated to bring you to this exact moment. The 8th of August isn't just another day on your calendar. It's the day heaven opens the vault that's been sealed with your name on it. I can feel some of you right now, that familiar ache in your chest, that whisper that says, not again, not another false hope. But your spirit is stirring because it recognizes what your mind is afraid to believe. This time is different. Don't leave, because what happens in the next 60 minutes could rewrite the next 60 years, not just for you, but for everyone who carries your name, everyone in your bloodline waiting for someone brave enough to break the cycle. Before we go one step further, comment, "I'm ready right now," if your spirit already knows this message is for you. Let heaven hear you. Let your faith shake the atmosphere around you. And listen, I want to pause here with a heart full of gratitude. Thank you to every single soul who has supported this message through your generosity. You're not just giving, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you sow seeds or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here, your time, your attention. It all matters. And if this message is resonating with your soul, go ahead and let that support flow naturally as the Spirit leads. The alarm is ringing, chosen one. Not in your bedroom, but in the halls of heaven. Angels are positioning themselves around your situation right now. Can you feel it? That electricity in the air? That sacred stirring? The 8th of August is your divine unlock. Stay with me. Your breakthrough is about to break through. Why does God let His most faithful children walk through valleys so deep that even their prayers echo back empty? Why do the very people He calls chosen spend years knocking on doors that remain locked while watching others waltz through theirs? And why, tell me, why does the God who split the Red Sea in an instant make you wait decades for a breakthrough that should have taken moments? You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? That suffocating silence between your desperate prayers and heaven's response. That crushing weight of watching time slip through your fingers like sand while your miracle stays just out of reach. You've been standing in front of doors like a widow at a silent gate, wondering if God forgot your address. Every morning you wake up hoping today will be different. Every night you lay your head down whispering the same question that's been burning in your chest for years. Lord, have you forgotten me? Maybe it's the family restoration you've been praying for since your children stopped calling. You watch other families gather around dinner tables while yours sits scattered across time zones and broken hearts. The grandchildren who barely know your name, the son who won't return your calls, the daughter who looks right through you like you're a stranger. Or perhaps it's the healing that came too late, if it came at all. You prayed, fasted, anointed yourself with oil, had elders lay hands on you, believed with everything you had. Yet you watched your spouse take their last breath anyway. You buried dreams in that casket. You buried hope 6 feet under and wondered if your faith died with them. Some of you are running out of time, aren't you? Not just calendar time, but energy, hope, strength. You're tired of being strong, exhausted from believing. Your faith feels like a muscle that's been worked to failure, trembling under the weight of one more not yet from heaven. The younger folks around you keep saying, God's timing is perfect, but when you're 72 and still waiting, when your body is slowing down and your opportunities are shrinking, perfect timing feels like a cruel joke. When does not yet become never? When does faith become foolishness? Listen to me carefully. I need you to understand something that will change everything about how you see this season of your life. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah, the same prophet who called down fire from heaven, ran and hid in a cave, convinced God had abandoned him. He was so done with waiting, so tired of standing alone, that he begged God to let him die. But God didn't rebuke him. Instead, he asked the most tender question in all of Scripture. What are you doing here, Elijah? Not why are you complaining, not where's your faith, but what are you doing here? As if to say, I know this isn't where you thought you'd be. I see you hiding. I understand your heart. And then comes the revelation that changes everything. God wasn't in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. He was in the still, small voice, the whisper, the pause between heartbeats. What if I told you that every door that stayed locked wasn't rejection, it was divine protection? What if God wasn't ignoring your prayers, he was orchestrating something so specific, so precisely timed, that opening those doors too early would have derailed your destiny? Think about it. If Abraham had his son at 40 instead of 100, Isaac would have been just another child, not a miracle that proved God's faithfulness to generations. If the Israelites had entered the Promised Land after 40 days instead of 40 years, they would have been too weak to possess it. The delay was their preparation. Your wilderness wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every year you spent waiting wasn't wasted, it was invested. God was developing your character, strengthening your spirit, purifying your motives. He was making sure that when your door finally opens, you'll be ready not just to walk through it, but to steward what's on the other side. But here's what's going to shake you to your core. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3:11 that God has made everything beautiful in its time, not our time, His time. And that word beautiful in Hebrew is yafeh. It means perfectly fitting, precisely appropriate, exactly right. Your breakthrough isn't late. It's been right on time all along. That family restoration you've been praying for. God has been working on hearts you couldn't reach, softening spirits you couldn't touch, orchestrating encounters you couldn't arrange. The seeds you planted in prayers are about to bloom in ways that will take your breath away. That financial miracle you've been believing for. God has been moving mountains of bureaucracy, shifting economic landscapes, aligning resources from sources you've never even imagined. What's coming isn't just provision, it's overflow that will shock even you. But here's the urgency you need to grasp. We're not in a season of someday anymore. We're in a season of suddenly. The 8th of August isn't just another date on the calendar. It's the culmination of every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've cried, every night you've wrestled with doubt. The door that's been sealed is about to crack open, not slowly, not partially, but wide enough for you to see that God was never absent. He was working behind the scenes, orchestrating the greatest comeback story of your lifetime. If you've ever whispered, Lord, have you forgotten me? Drop A in the comments right now. You're not alone. We're in this together. And what's about to happen will prove that your faith wasn't misplaced. It was perfectly positioned for this very moment. The pause is over. The test of faith is complete. What comes next will leave you breathless with gratitude for every single day you had to wait. You know what haunts me about modern Christianity? We've turned God into a cosmic vending machine. Put in your prayer coins, push the right buttons, and wait for your blessing to drop. But what if I told you that's not how divine timing works at all? The 8th of August is not just another Tuesday. It's the day heaven circled your name in blood-red ink before the foundations of the world were laid. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. There's something happening in the spiritual realm right now that most believers can't see. While you've been checking your bank account, wondering when your breakthrough is coming, while you've been staring at that same four walls, wondering if God heard your desperate midnight prayers, heaven has been counting down to a specific date. Not a random date, not a convenient date, the 8th of August. And here's what's going to shock you. God doesn't need time, but He absolutely uses timing. Think about this for a moment. In Genesis 8:8, Noah sent out a dove to search for dry ground after the flood. That wasn't just a bird looking for land, dear friend. That dove was a prophetic symbol of new beginnings emerging from complete devastation. The number 8 in Hebrew represents new beginnings, resurrection, regeneration. It's the number that says the old is finished, the new has come. But here's where it gets personal for you. Noah didn't send that dove out randomly. He waited. He endured the storm. He trusted divine timing, even when everything around him looked like judgment and death. And on the 8th day, that dove returned with fresh olive leaf in its beak. Fresh hope, fresh life, fresh possibility. The 8th of August is that dove, chosen one. It's carrying something fresh in its beak, something that's about to land in your reality. But let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. How long have you been floating in your own flood? How many years have you been treading water in disappointment, watching other people's boats sail past while you're stuck in the storm? How many times have you wondered if God forgot your address, your name, your desperate situation? I can feel some of you right now, that familiar tightness in your chest, that voice that whispers, "I've heard promises before," that exhaustion that comes from hope deferred making your heart sick. You're tired of spiritual cheerleading when your reality looks like a battlefield. Here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. Your flood season was never punishment. It was preparation. The 8th of August is not a date on your calendar. It's a door in the spirit realm. And that door is motion sensitive. It only opens when faith walks toward it, not when fear backs away from it. This door has been waiting for your specific frequency, your specific desperation level, your specific readiness to receive what you've been denied. God has been watching you. Every tear you've cried in secret, every night you've laid awake wondering if you missed your season, every moment you've questioned whether you're really chosen or just delusional. He's been keeping track, not to punish you, but to prepare the perfect moment for your release. There are dates written in eternity, and this one has your name engraved on it. Not penciled in, engraved. But here's what's going to challenge everything you think you know about God's timing. The 8th of August isn't coming to reward your patience, it's coming to activate your purpose. See, you've been thinking your delay was about you learning to wait. But what if your delay was about the world learning to need what you carry? What if every door that slammed in your face was protecting you from settling for less than your divine assignment? What if every relationship that fell apart was clearing the path for the connections that will catapult you into destiny? What if every financial struggle was developing the muscles you'll need to carry generational wealth? I need you to understand something that will shake you to your core. You are not behind schedule. The world is finally catching up to what heaven deposited in you before you took your first breath. The 8th of August isn't just your breakthrough day. It's the day you stop breaking and start building. It's the day you stop surviving and start thriving. It's the day you discover that your test was actually your testimony in disguise. But listen carefully, because this is where most believers miss it completely. This door that's about to open on the 8th of August requires something from you that comfort Christianity never taught you. It requires you to die to who you used to be. The version of you that played small to make others comfortable. The version of you that apologized for your gifts. The version of you that asked permission to walk in your calling. That version dies on the 8th of August. And what resurrects is the version of you that makes hell nervous and heaven proud. Can you handle that level of transformation? Can you handle walking into rooms and changing the atmosphere just by your presence? Can you handle having resources flow to you, not because you begged for them, but because heaven marked you as a steward of supernatural provision? Because that's what's on the other side of the 8th of August. Not just survival, dominion. The question that will determine whether you receive what's coming or watch it pass by is this: are you ready to stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the architect of your destiny. Some of you survived what should have taken you out. I'm talking about the kind of pain that doesn't just hurt, it rewires your DNA. The kind of betrayal that should have made you bitter, but somehow left you wiser. The kind of loss that should have destroyed your faith, but instead deepened your roots. You didn't just make it through, you were marked by it. And right now, I need you to understand something that might shatter everything you've believed about your story. You weren't buried, you were planted. And the 8th of August is your bloom date. Let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. How many nights did you lay in that bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if God had forgotten your zip code? How many times did you check your phone, hoping for that call, that text, that sign that anybody still remembered your name? But here's what the enemy didn't want you to know while you were drowning in those tears. Every single wound was being transformed into a key. Every betrayal was forging a master key that would unlock doors the comfortable could never access. You think Job was just a story? Job 14:7 says, "At least there is hope for a tree. If it is cut down, it will sprout again." You were cut down, chosen one. But you're about to sprout with a vengeance that heaven itself has been waiting to witness. The cancer that should have killed you, it didn't just spare your life, it gave you authority over death itself. The divorce that should have destroyed you, it didn't just end a marriage, it birthed a ministry. The bankruptcy that should have buried you, it didn't just teach you about money, it gave you supernatural wisdom about provision. You've been through enough to qualify for the blessing. And I can hear some of you right now, that voice in your head whispering, "But you don't know what I did. You don't know how far I fell." Listen to me carefully. David was an adulterer and a murderer, and God still called him a man after his own heart. Moses had a speech impediment and anger issues, yet God chose him to deliver a nation. Peter denied Christ 3 times, but Jesus still gave him the keys to the kingdom. Your disqualifications were actually your qualifications in heaven's economy. The silence you endured wasn't abandonment, it was your boot camp, and graduation is on the 8th. Every unanswered prayer wasn't God ignoring you, it was God preparing you for an answer so big that you needed the strength of Job, the faith of Abraham, and the persistence of Jacob to carry it. You couldn't have handled what's coming 3 years ago. You would have been crushed under the weight of your own blessing. But look at you now. Look at those shoulders. They've been strengthened by the very weights that almost broke you. Those tears weren't wasted. They were liquid prayers that have been collecting in heaven's bowls. And on the 8th of August, they're about to overflow back into your life as liquid gold. Psalm 126:5 declares, "Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy." Your harvest isn't just coming, it's here. And it's not just big, it's generational. The depression that tried to drown you, it gave you compassion that can heal broken hearts at 50 yards. The addiction that almost destroyed you, it gave you authority to break chains that have held families captive for generations. The abuse you survived, it gave you a voice that can speak life into the walking dead. You passed, chosen one. You passed every test hell threw at you, and now heaven is about to show you why you had to walk through fire to get your diploma. Some of you are sitting there thinking, "But I'm too old. I'm 65, 70, 75, my time has passed." Let me tell you something that's going to rock your world. Moses was 80 when he started his real ministry. Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain." Colonel Sanders was 65 when he franchised KFC. Your age isn't your expiration date, it's your activation code. Every gray hair is a badge of honor. Every wrinkle is a medal of survival. Every ache in your bones is a testimony that you're still here, still standing, still believing when lesser people would have given up. The world looks at you and sees senior citizen, but heaven looks at you and sees senior warrior, senior prophet, senior overcomer. Your best days aren't behind you, they're about to be unleashed. You weren't late, you were being prepared. And here's the truth that's going to set you free. The door that's opening on the 8th of August isn't just any door. It's the door that was custom built for someone who survived what you survived, learned what you learned, and carried what you carried. This door doesn't open for the untested. It doesn't swing wide for the comfortable. It doesn't give access to those who never learned how to pray with tears in their eyes and faith in their hearts simultaneously. But it opens for you, because you earned the key through every storm you weathered, every mountain you climbed, every valley you walked through without giving up. If you've been through a storm but still kept your praise, comment "I made it" below. Let heaven hear your testimony. Let your survival story shake the atmosphere. Because what's about to happen on the 8th of August isn't just about you getting blessed. It's about you becoming the blessing that breaks generational curses and opens doors for others who thought they were too broken, too old, too late. The question isn't whether you're ready for the 8th of August. The question is the 8th of August ready for what you've become? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Right now, as I speak these words, there is a door with your name etched in gold, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. Your name is carved into the frame of a door that has been waiting for you since before time began. But here's what's breaking my heart tonight. You've been standing in front of the wrong doors your whole life, knocking on doors that were never meant for you, begging entrance into rooms that would have suffocated your calling, crying over rejections that were actually redirections from a Father who loves you too much to let you settle. You've been looking for a key, but this door doesn't open with a key. It opens with alignment. Think about it. How many nights have you laid awake wondering why God hasn't answered? How many mornings have you woken up feeling forgotten, overlooked, passed by? I'm telling you the truth right now. Those weren't delays. Those were divine appointments with preparation. Every closed door was God protecting the timing. Every no was heaven saying, "Not yet, but soon." The Bible says in Revelation 3-8, "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." Did you catch that? No one can shut it. Not your enemies, not your doubters, not even your own fear. But here's where it gets supernatural, and I need you to really hear this. Think of the 8th of August like a divine airport. Flights are arriving that you didn't even book, connections you never applied for, boarding passes with your name already printed. The departure gate has been announced, and honey, your flight is ready for takeoff. You see, most people think they're waiting for their door to open. But I'm about to shatter that illusion right now. You're not waiting for the opportunity. You are the opportunity. You don't chase the blessing. You attract it. You don't knock on the door. You become so aligned with God's frequency that doors swing open just sensing your approach. Matthew 7-7 says, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." But notice the progression. Ask, seek, knock. It's active. It's movement. It's faith in motion. And chosen one, your faith has been in motion for years, even when you couldn't see the progress. Every tear you cried in secret was a seed watered. Every time you got back up when life knocked you down, you were building spiritual muscle. Every moment you chose to worship in the wilderness, you were tuning your frequency to match heaven's. And now the signal is crystal clear. But let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. What if I told you that it's not about walking through the door? What if the real revelation is that you're about to become the door for others? See, this is where most people get it wrong. They think God's blessings are just for them. They think when their door opens, they can finally exhale and enjoy the view. But chosen ones, real chosen ones, understand something deeper. You're not being blessed to hoard the blessing. You're being positioned to become a portal of possibility for everyone still wandering in the wilderness. Isaiah 43-19 declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. You are that new thing. You are that way being made." When God opens your door on the 8th of August, He's not just changing your address, He's changing your assignment. Think about this. Every person you've ever admired, every breakthrough you've ever witnessed, Every miracle that made you believe again, it happened because someone else became a door. Moses became the door out of Egypt. David became the door to victory over giants. Esther became the door to salvation for her people. And now it's your turn. But here's what's making my spirit tremble right now. I can feel some of you pulling back. That old familiar fear creeping in. What if I'm not ready? What if I mess it up? What if this is too big for me? Stop it. Stop it right there. Do you think God would bring you this far just to watch you fail? The enemy has whispered lies in your ear for years. You're too old. You're too broken. You've made too many mistakes. Your time has passed. But the 8th of August is God's answer to every lie that's ever been spoken over your life. This isn't about your age. It's about your alignment. This isn't about your past. It's about your purpose. Right now, this very moment, angels are moving furniture in heaven, rearranging circumstances on earth, awakening hearts that have been asleep to your value. People you've never met are about to speak your name in rooms you've never entered. Contracts are being prepared with your signature line already highlighted. Bank accounts are being opened with your name as the beneficiary. But here's the urgency. This window won't stay open forever. Divine appointments have divine timing. When God says now, He doesn't mean whenever you get around to it. He means now. So I'm asking you directly, are you ready to stop being a victim of circumstances and become a victor through Christ? Are you ready to stop asking for crumbs and start claiming your inheritance? Are you ready to walk through that door with your name on it and become the blessing others are praying for? Because, chosen one, what happens next will determine not just your future, but the future of everyone connected to your bloodline. The door is opening, the flight is boarding, and your seat has been reserved since the foundation of the world. But will you have the courage to walk through it? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. What you're about to hear will shatter every lie you've been told about why your breakthrough hasn't come yet. For years, you've been asking the wrong question. You've been asking, why me? Why hasn't God moved yet? Why am I still waiting? But heaven has been asking a different question entirely. Are they ready for what I'm about to release? The truth that will rock you to your core is this. What was delayed is now being delivered. What was locked is now loosed. You see, there's a fundamental misunderstanding that's been eating at your faith like cancer. You thought God was withholding from you. You thought He was testing your patience, maybe even punishing you for something you couldn't remember doing. But what if I told you that every single day of delay was actually God positioning you for the greatest transfer of your lifetime? Look at Joseph. 13 years in a pit, 13 years falsely accused, 13 years forgotten in prison. Was God cruel? Was God slow? God was storing up grain during famine. Joseph wasn't being punished, he was being positioned. And you, dear one, you are Joseph. Every rejection letter that made you cry, every door that slammed in your face, every person who walked away when you needed them most, it wasn't God abandoning you. It was God preparing you to handle what's coming on the 8th of August. But here's where it gets shocking. This isn't just breakthrough, this is a wealth transfer. Not just money, though money is coming. I'm talking about wisdom that will pour into your mind like lightning, favor that will open doors you never even knocked on, healing that will reverse years of pain in a single moment, relationships that will restore what was stolen from your heart, legacy that will outlive your great-grandchildren. The spiritual realm has been in lockdown around your situation. Angels have been stationed at the gates of your blessing, not to keep it from you, but to keep it for you, because what God has been preparing to release into your life is so massive, so overwhelming, so generationally significant that you had to be strengthened first. Do you realize what you've survived? The depression that should have destroyed you, you're still here. The financial crisis that should have bankrupted you, you're still standing. The health scare that should have ended you, you're still breathing. Every battle was boot camp for this moment. The 8th of August isn't just about you getting your breakthrough. It's about you becoming the breakthrough for everyone watching you. Your children's children will tell stories about what happened to your family line the day heaven opened its vault and poured out 70 years of stored blessings in 70 seconds. Can you feel that stirring in your chest right now? That's not anxiety, that's prophecy. That's your spirit recognizing what your mind hasn't caught up to yet. The transfer has already begun in the heavenly realm. The spiritual paperwork has been signed. The divine wire transfer has been initiated. But here's what will make you weep with joy. This isn't just about you. This is about your children's children. The 8th of August will outlive you. The doors that open for you will remain open for generations. The favor you walk into will become the inheritance you leave behind. The healing you receive will break curses that have haunted your bloodline for decades. I need you to understand something that will change how you see yourself forever. You weren't chosen because you were perfect. You were chosen because you were prepared. Every tear prepared you. Every disappointment prepared you. Every sleepless night prepared you to steward what's about to be released. Right now, there are contracts with your name on them sitting on desks of people who don't even know you yet. There are healing miracles with your address written on them moving through the spiritual postal system. There are relationships being prepared in the hearts of people who will love you the way you've always deserved to be loved. The enemy has been fighting you so hard because he knows what's in that vault. He's seen the inventory. He knows that once the 8th of August hits, you'll never be the same broken, forgotten version of yourself again. He's been throwing everything he has at you because he knows his time is almost up. But his weapons have an expiration date, and that date is the 7th of August at 11:59 p.m. This is why you can't sleep lately. This is why your dreams have been so vivid. This is why you keep seeing signs and numbers and feeling like something big is about to happen. Your spirit is already receiving the download. Your soul is already tasting the breakthrough. The transfer isn't coming. The transfer is here. It's happening right now as you listen to these words. Can you feel it? That electricity in the atmosphere around you? That sense that the very air is pregnant with possibility? Type, "I receive the release," below if you believe God is about to transfer what's been held for you. Don't just read it. Declare it. Let your faith shake the gates of heaven and announce that you're ready to receive what's been stored up for you. But I need to warn you about something that's about to happen that will test everything you believe about yourself. The door has swung wide open, but here you are, still standing in the hallway. I see you there, chosen one. Your breakthrough is literally inches away, but your feet feel like they're cemented to the floor. Your blessing is waiting on the other side, but something invisible is wrapping around your ankles like chains you can't see. What if I told you the hardest part of your breakthrough isn't getting the door to open? What if the hardest part is believing you're worthy of walking through it? Listen to me carefully. Right now, as I'm speaking these words, there's a beautiful door standing in front of you, but your hand trembles at the handle. Not because you're weak, but because you've been burned so many times that even good things feel dangerous. You've prayed for this moment for decades. You've cried yourself to sleep, begging God to move in your life. And now that He's answered, now that the 8th of August has arrived with your name written on heaven's calendar, you're frozen, paralyzed by a question that's haunting your soul. What if I don't deserve this? Let me ask you something that might sting. How many times have you sabotaged your own blessing because you felt too broken to receive it? How many doors have you walked away from because the voice in your head whispered, "People like you don't get things like this"? I need you to hear something that's going to shake you to your core. That voice isn't yours. It's not God's either. It's the echo of every person who told you that you weren't enough, every disappointment that made you believe you were cursed, every trauma that convinced you that good things only happen to other people. But Isaiah 43:19 says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" God isn't asking if you feel ready. He's asking if you can perceive what He's already doing. The enemy knows something you're just beginning to understand. You're about to step into a dimension of favor that will rewrite your family tree. That's why he's pulling out every psychological weapon in his arsenal to keep you in that hallway. Fear, unworthiness, the memory of past failures, the sting of betrayal, the weight of disappointment. But here's what the devil doesn't want you to know. Your past pain was never meant to be your permanent prison. It was your preparation. Every tear you've cried has been collected in heaven's bottle. Every rejection has been redirecting you to this moment. Every time you felt forgotten, God was positioning you for favor that would make your enemies your footstool. You think you're too damaged. David was an adulterer and murderer, and God called him a man after his own heart. You think you're too old. Abraham received his promise at 100 years old. You think you've made too many mistakes. Peter denied Jesus 3 times and became the rock on which the church was built. The door isn't just open, beloved. It's been custom built for someone with your exact fingerprint, your exact story, your exact scars. God doesn't give generic blessings to his chosen ones. He gives tailor-made miracles that fit the contours of your pain perfectly. But I need to tell you something urgent. This door won't stay open forever. The 8th of August is a divine window, not a permanent fixture. There are others in the hallway behind you, waiting for someone to have the courage to walk through first. Your obedience isn't just about your breakthrough, it's about breaking generational cycles that have held your bloodline hostage for decades. If you've ever felt too broken to walk into something beautiful, if you've ever stood at the threshold of blessing but couldn't cross it, type "That's me" right now. I'm with you in this moment. God sees you trembling at that handle, and he's not disappointed in your fear. He's proud of your faith for getting you this far. The question that will define the rest of your life isn't whether you're worthy of what's behind that door. The question is, are you brave enough to let God prove his worthiness to you? Because on the 8th of August, everything changes, but only if you're willing to turn that handle. What's keeping your hand frozen at the door of your destiny? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Every move of God comes with a moment exactly like this, not a test of your power, a test of your permission, not from heaven, but from you. Will you let yourself cross the threshold? You see, there's something they don't tell you about divine doors. They don't stay open forever. Ask Moses. He had 40 years in the wilderness to prepare for one moment, the moment when God said, "Go up and possess the land." But here's what breaks my heart. An entire generation died in the desert because they stood at the threshold and said, "We're not ready. We're not worthy. What if we fail?" You're not waiting on a sign. You're not waiting on people. You're not waiting on confirmation. You're waiting on you. Right now, I can feel some of you clutching your chest because your spirit recognizes this crossroads. You've been here before, haven't you? Standing at the edge of breakthrough, only to step back into the familiar darkness of maybe someday. But the 8th of August isn't asking for your perfection. It's demanding your permission. Picture this with me. You're standing at a massive door carved from wood that's been weathered by centuries of storms. Behind you lies everything that wounded you, every betrayal that taught you not to trust, every hospital bed where you wondered if God had forgotten your name, every funeral where you buried dreams along with the departed, every bankruptcy that convinced you that abundance wasn't for people like you. The footsteps echo as you approach. Each step forward triggers a flashback. There's your mother's voice telling you to be realistic. There's the boss who passed you over for that promotion. There's the doctor's report that shattered your peace. There's the empty bank account that screamed louder than your prayers. You pose. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to realize, that light keeps calling from the other side. That warm golden light that whispers your name not as you are, but as you were created to be. Do you know what Revelation 3:20 really means? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. Jesus isn't standing outside your heart, dear one. He's standing on the other side of your breakthrough, waiting for you to open the door from your side. The threshold isn't about qualification, it's about desperation. It's about reaching that holy place where staying the same hurts more than the risk of change. Jacob wrestled with the angel all night, and refused to let go until he received his blessing. He walked away with a limp, but he also walked away transformed. Are you willing to limp into your destiny if it means you finally get there? Here's the brutal truth that's going to shake some of you. Your comfort zone has become your prison cell. You've decorated it so beautifully with excuses, with God's timing, with "I'm waiting for the right season," that you don't even realize you're holding the key to your own cage. The Israelites wandered in circles for 40 years. 40 years. A journey that should have taken 11 days stretched into 4 decades because they confused God's patience with God's plan. They died with the promised land within walking distance because they convinced themselves that giants were bigger than their God. What giants are you looking at right now that seem larger than the God who split the Red Sea? But listen, and this is where your story changes. Joshua 1-3 says, "Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, I have given unto you," past tense, already given. Not will give if you prove yourself, already yours. The question isn't whether God will open the door, the question is whether you'll walk through it. The 8th of August is your Joshua moment. It's the day heaven stops asking if you're ready and starts asking if you're willing. Because ready is a feeling, but willing is a decision. I need you to understand the weight of this moment. There are people connected to your breakthrough who are waiting for you to stop waiting. Your children's children's children have a legacy hanging in the balance of this single choice. This isn't just about your comfort. This isn't just about your convenience. This is about generations who will either walk in freedom or wander in limitation based on what you do with this threshold. Some of you are feeling that familiar tightness in your chest right now. That's not anxiety, that's anticipation. That's your spirit, recognizing that this conversation is about to cost you everything you thought you knew about yourself. Because once you cross this threshold, there's no going back to small thinking, small dreaming, small living. The door is creaking open wider. Can you hear it? That sound isn't coming from your speakers. It's coming from the spirit realm, where your breakthrough has been pacing back and forth, waiting for you to finally say yes to what God said yes to before you were born. Your threshold moment is here. Your permission moment has arrived. So I'm asking you directly, will you walk through or will you wander again? There's something on the other side of this moment that will make every tear make sense. Every sleepless night, every broken promise, every door that slammed in your face, it was all leading you to the 8th of August. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. What's waiting for you isn't just a blessing, it's a complete transfiguration of your reality. You know that room you see in your dreams sometimes? The one where the light pours in like liquid gold, where the air itself hums with possibility. That room is real, and it's been waiting for you for 70 years, maybe 80, maybe longer. Right now, as I speak these words over your life, that room is being prepared. Every prayer you've ever whispered into your pillow at 2 a.m., they're all there, alive, breathing, waiting for your arrival. Every version of yourself that still believed when everyone else gave up, they're sitting at a table with your name carved into the wood, holding space for who you're about to become. But here's what breaks my heart about where you are right now. You've been standing outside that door for so long, you've forgotten what hope feels like, haven't you? You've knocked until your knuckles bled. You've pleaded until your voice gave out. You've waited until waiting became a way of life. And somewhere along the way, you started believing the lie that maybe the room was never meant for you. That lie ends today. Jesus said in John 14:2, "In my Father's house are many mansions, many rooms. And one of them, hear me clearly, one of them has been under construction since the day you were born, customized for your specific pain, designed around your exact dreams, built to house the version of you that's been buried under years of disappointment." You see, most people think blessing is about getting what you want, but transfiguration, that's about becoming who you were created to be before the world told you who you had to be. In that room, your arthritis won't define your activity level. Your bank account won't determine your worth. Your age won't limit your influence. Your past won't predict your future. But I need you to understand something that might shake you to your core. This room isn't waiting indefinitely. There's a reason it's the 8th of August. There's a reason your heart is pounding right now. There's a reason you can't shake the feeling that something massive is shifting in the spiritual realm. Time is running out on the old version of your story. Do you remember Moses? 80 years old when God called him to lead a nation. 80 years of feeling forgotten, invisible, washed up. But on the day of divine appointment, everything changed in one conversation with a burning bush. Do you remember Abraham, 99 years old, when God promised him a son? 99 years of empty arms, broken promises, wondering if he'd misheard the voice of God. But in his 100th year, Isaac arrived right on heaven's schedule. Do you remember Sarah? 90 years old when she conceived the impossible. 90 years of silent shame, monthly reminders of barrenness, watching younger women hold what she couldn't have. But God's promise doesn't have an expiration date. Your age is not your limitation. It's your qualification. Every gray hair on your head represents wisdom earned through fire. Every wrinkle on your face is a story of survival. Every ache in your bones is proof that you've carried more than most people could handle, and you're still here. But here's the part that's going to make you cry, chosen one. In that room on the other side of the 8th of August, you won't just receive what you've been asking for. You'll understand why you had to wait so long to receive it. You'll see how every delay was divine protection, keeping you from settling for something smaller than what God had planned. You'll understand how every closed door was heaven's way of saving you from a counterfeit blessing that would have destroyed your destiny. You'll realize that you weren't forgotten. You were being prepared. The room is ready now. The table is set. Your name is written in gold letters across the entrance. And the 8th of August is the day heaven hands you the key. But I have to ask you something, and I need you to answer honestly in your heart. How much longer are you going to stand outside that door, convincing yourself you're not worthy to enter? How many more years are you going to waste believing that your season of breakthrough expired when you turned 60 or 70 or 80? The room doesn't care about your age. It cares about your faith. Revelation 3:8 says, "I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it." No one. Not your doctor, not your children who think you're too old to dream, not your bank account, not your past failures, not even your own mind when it whispers that it's too late. The door opens in 3 days. What will you do with the time you have left to prepare? Will you clean house in your heart? Will you forgive the people who said you were finished? Will you release the bitterness that's been eating you alive from the inside out? Because that room, your room, it won't let you bring the old stuff in. The question that will determine everything is this: are you ready to leave who you've been to become, who you were meant to be? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. I'm about to tell you something that might shake you to your core, something that explains why you're sitting here right now, watching this message, yet trembling at the thought of what the 8th of August might actually bring. Sometimes we stay in cages because we decorated the walls. You've heard me talk about doors opening, about breakthrough coming, about divine timing, aligning perfectly for your moment of release. But here's what nobody wants to admit, what the prosperity preachers won't tell you, what even your closest friends can't understand. You're terrified of getting what you've been praying for. You've been in the waiting room so long, you made it feel like home. Think about it. When was the last time you had a day without struggle? When was the last morning you woke up without that familiar knot in your stomach, that reliable companion called worry? When was the last time you went to bed without rehearsing your problems like a lullaby? Your pain has become your identity. Your struggle has become your story. Your lack has become your language. And now heaven is saying, it's time to leave all of that behind. But what if your suffering became familiar, and now you're afraid of joy? I see you there, maybe 65, maybe 75, maybe 80 years old, and you're thinking, Pastor, I've been waiting my whole life for this breakthrough. But have you really? Or have you been waiting for permission to stay exactly where you are? Because here's the brutal truth. Freedom is scarier than bondage. when bondage is all you know. The children of Israel had this same problem. 400 years in Egypt, 4 centuries of slavery. And when Moses showed up with God's deliverance plan, what did they do? They complained. They wanted to go back. Exodus 14:12. Did we not tell you in Egypt, leave us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. They preferred familiar misery to unfamiliar freedom. Are you doing the same thing? You've gotten so good at managing your disappointment, haven't you? You've perfected the art of expecting nothing so you're never let down. You've built entire defense systems around your heart to protect yourself from hope, because hope hurt too many times before. But what if I told you that your very fear of breakthrough is the final barrier to breakthrough? What if your resistance to change is the last chain that needs to break? I'm talking to that grandmother who's been praying for her prodigal son for 20 years, but she's secretly terrified he might actually come home, because then what would she pray about? I'm talking to that grandfather who's been asking God for financial breakthrough for decades, but he's afraid of prosperity because he doesn't know who he'd be if he wasn't struggling. I'm talking to the widow who's been lonely for so long that the thought of love scares her more than the reality of isolation. I'm talking to the retiree who's been sick for so long that health feels like a foreign concept. Your suffering has become your security blanket. But Jesus said in John 5-6, when he met the man who'd been sick for 38 years, "Do you want to be made well?" Why would he ask such an obvious question? Because sometimes we don't. Sometimes we've built our entire identity around our infirmity. That man had been lying by the pool of Bethesda for 38 years. 38 years. He knew every crack in the pavement. He knew every face that passed by. He had a system, a routine, a predictable existence built around his limitation. And here comes Jesus, threatening to destroy his entire world with one word: rise. Is Jesus threatening to destroy your world too? Because that's what the 8th of August represents. It's not just an opening, it's an ending. It's the death of the version of you that found comfort in complaining. It's the burial of the identity that was built on not yet and if only. You're about to lose your excuses. You're about to lose your reasons for staying small. You're about to lose the luxury of blaming your circumstances for your limitations. And that's exactly why you're afraid. But chosen one, let me tell you what's on the other side of that fear. Let me tell you what happens when you finally let go of what hurt you, when you stop clutching your wounds like trophies, when you stop rehearsing your pain like a prayer. You become dangerous to the enemy, because a person who's no longer afraid of loss is unstoppable. A person who's no longer defined by their struggle is unlimited. A person who's traded their familiar cage for unfamiliar freedom becomes a weapon in God's hands. The enemy has been using your fear of change to keep you exactly where you are. He's been whispering, better the devil you know than the angel you don't. He's been convincing you that your current suffering is safer than future freedom. But what if I told you that the very thing you're afraid to lose is the very thing that's been keeping you from everything you were meant to gain? What if your biggest fear is actually your biggest breakthrough in disguise? Because on the 8th of August, God isn't just opening doors. He's evicting you from the prison you've been calling home. He's not asking for your permission. He's not waiting for you to feel ready. He's moving whether you're afraid or not. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. I'm about to tell you something that will either offend your comfort zone or set your soul on fire. The blessing doesn't fall in the hallway. It's waiting for your feet to cross the line. You've been standing at the threshold for months, maybe years, waiting for some cosmic permission slip to arrive in your mailbox. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. The anointing is in the motion. When Moses stood at the Red Sea with 2 million terrified Israelites behind him and Pharaoh's army thundering toward them, God didn't part the waters while Moses was praying about it. The miracle happened when Moses stretched out his hand, when he moved, when he acted in faith before he could see the outcome. You think God is waiting for you to feel ready? You think heaven is holding back until you have enough money in your savings account, enough credentials on your wall, enough people believing in your dream? Wrong. God is waiting for you to move before you're ready. That's what faith is. That's what separates the chosen from the comfortable. Right now, as I'm speaking these words, there are doors in the spiritual realm that are cracked open just a few inches. They're not waiting for your perfection. They're not waiting for your confidence. They're waiting for your footsteps. Stand up. Right where you are. Stand up. I don't care if you're in your living room, your bedroom, or sitting in your car. Stand up right now. Because what I'm about to tell you requires you to be in position to receive it. The God who called David from the sheep fields didn't wait until David felt qualified to face Goliath. The God who called Peter to walk on water didn't wait until Peter figured out the physics of faith. The God who is calling you right now isn't waiting for you to feel adequate. He's waiting for you to take one step. Do you know what happened to the woman with the issue of blood? She didn't pray about it for 12 more years. She didn't form a committee. She didn't wait for the perfect moment when Jesus wasn't surrounded by crowds. She pushed through the multitude, reached out in desperation, and touched the hem of his garment. Mark 5:29 says, "Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering." Immediately. Not eventually. Not someday. Not when she deserved it. Immediately. But here's the key that most people miss. The healing didn't happen in her bedroom while she was thinking about touching Jesus. It happened when she moved through the crowd. Your breakthrough is not coming to your comfort zone. It's waiting in your courage zone. Take one step in your room right now, in faith. One physical step forward. That's your act of war against every limitation that has held you captive. That's your declaration to hell that you refused to die in the wilderness of waiting. Move your feet, chosen one. Because the 8th of August isn't just a prophetic date on heaven's calendar, it's a divine deadline. And deadlines require action, not meditation. You want to know why so many believers stay stuck in the same spiritual condition year after year? Because they've confused worship with action. They've mistaken prayer for movement. They think God is impressed by their ability to stay still when He's calling them to step out. But Joshua 3:13 reveals the secret. And as soon as the priests who carry the ark of the Lord of all the earth, set foot in the Jordan, its waters flowing downstream will be cut off and stand up in a heap. As soon as, not when they felt brave enough, not when the water looked safer, as soon as their feet touched the water. The miracle was triggered by motion, not emotion. Stand right now and say out loud, "I am crossing over. I'm not going back." Type it below. Say it in the room. Let hell hear your declaration. Let heaven record your commitment. Because here's what happens the moment you move. The spiritual atmosphere around your situation shifts. Angels who have been waiting for your signal suddenly get their marching orders. Resources that seemed frozen begin to flow. People who couldn't see you before suddenly notice your name. Motion, créate promotion. But if you stay seated in your fear, if you keep rehearsing your reasons why you're not ready, if you keep waiting for a feeling that may never come, then the 8th of August will pass by like every other date on your calendar. Just another day of unfulfilled potential. The door that's opening for you requires you to walk through it. It won't come to you. You must go to it. Joshua had to march around Jericho 7 times before the walls fell down. David had to run toward Goliath, not away from him. The disciples had to leave their nets before they could catch men. What are you waiting for? Your feelings to align? Your bank account to be fuller? Your critics to become cheerleaders? Your past to stop haunting you? None of that is coming before you move. It's all waiting on the other side of your obedience. The anointing you've been praying for is already in your feet. The breakthrough you've been believing for is already in your boldness. The doors you've been asking God to open are waiting for you to walk toward them. This is your moment of transition. This is your Red Sea moment. This is your Jordan River crossing. But unlike the Israelites, you don't need 2 million people to move with you. You just need you, your faith, your feet, your willingness to step into the unknown before the unknown becomes the scene. Because on the other side of your movement, your life is waiting to begin. Chosen one, as we reach the end of this sacred moment together, I want you to hold on to 3 unshakable truths that will carry you forward long after this video ends. First, the 8th of August is not just a date, it's your divine appointment. Every delay you've endured, every door that seemed permanently closed, every night you questioned if God still remembered your name, it was all preparing you for this breakthrough moment. Your timing is not late, it's precisely orchestrated by heaven itself. Second, your movement activates your miracle. The Red Sea didn't part while Moses was praying about it. It parted when he stretched out his hand. Your breakthrough is not coming to your comfort zone, it's waiting in your courage zone. The anointing flows through your obedience, not your hesitation. Third, you are not walking this path alone. Right now, as I speak these words, there are thousands of chosen ones watching this message, feeling the same stirring in their spirit that you feel. We are a community of believers who understand what it means to wait in faith, to hope against hope, to believe for the impossible. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not too late. God is still writing your story, and the best chapters are still ahead of you. But let me ask you this. What will you do with this word? Will you let it settle into your spirit like seed in good soil, or will you let doubt steal it before it can take root in your heart? Right now, I want to pray over you with the authority that comes from walking this journey myself, from seeing God's faithfulness in the darkest valleys and on the highest mountains. Let me pray. Father God, I place my hand on the shoulder of every person hearing this word right now. You know their name, you know their struggle, you know the dreams they've carried and the tears they've cried. Lord, they've been faithful when faithfulness felt impossible. They've believed when believing brought more questions than answers. Right now, I speak divine acceleration over their lives. I speak supernatural alignment over their circumstances. I speak breakthrough over every area where they've felt stuck. God, let the 8th of August be marked in heaven as the day their season changed, the day their waiting turned into receiving, the day their faith became sight. Strengthen their hearts, Lord. Give them boldness to move when you say move. Give them peace to rest when you say rest. And give them unshakable confidence that you who began a good work in them will complete it. Open doors that no man can shut. Close doors that need to be closed. Align their steps with your perfect will. And let them feel, right now in this moment, the warmth of your presence, the security of your love, and the certainty of your faithfulness. In the mighty name of Jesus, who holds the keys to every door, who opens the Red Sea, who makes all things possible. Amen. Chosen one, you are not alone in this. If this message has stirred something deep in your spirit, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, leave a comment below and tell us what God is speaking to you. Share your heart, share your testimony, share your need for prayer. This community of believers will stand with you. Second, if someone in your life needs to hear this word, a family member, a friend, someone who's been waiting for their breakthrough, share this video with them. Sometimes we become the vessel God uses to deliver hope to someone who desperately needs it. Third, if you found strength in this message, if it reminded you that God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't feel like it, then subscribe to this channel. Join our family of believers who gather here every week to be encouraged, to be challenged, and to be reminded that we serve a God who specializes in the impossible. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for opening your heart to receive what God wanted to speak over you today. Thank you for being part of a community that believes in the power of faith, the reality of miracles, and the faithfulness of our God. The 8th of August breakthrough is coming, chosen one, and when it arrives, we'll be here to celebrate with you. Until then, keep believing, keep moving, keep trusting. Your destiny is waiting, and so is your God. Go in peace, go in power, go in the unshakable confidence that heaven is moving on your behalf. Amen.